This is Jared back with another episode of Oxygen Not Included. Today we're going to have a project to turn polluted water into oxygen. So I'm going to choose a location. I want a place that's cool, not necessarily that cold. I kind of like this. So right under our cold generation, I'm going to have a set of buildings that's going to turn polluted water into oxygen. First thing we need to do is cut out an area. So I'll get them to dig this and meet you in a little bit. Alright, how about I just take a moment to explain what's going on. In this area, I'm going to be cleaning oxygen, or the polluted oxygen, that comes from our polluted water. That's going to be down here. And we're going to pump it out in this location. Now this is going to require a bit of power. And speaking of which, let's do a research. This isn't strictly important at this point, but let's upgrade our wires to heavy watt wire. We need to begin research on that. So I'm going to store my polluted water down here in several reservoirs. Alright, so our research was complete on our heavy watt wires. I'm not going to upgrade the entire base at this point. I'm just going to put in heavy watt wires in this section. So I know I'll eventually want them. I'm going to put in 2 pumps and connect the inside of the room with power. I'm only going to power 1 pump at this point. Actually, maybe I'll power 2 and I'll just disable the other one. So these deodorizers are going to be running quite often in this build. So they're going to need filtration. So I'm going to have a storage bin right here for that. Alright, we do have low oxygen in this area. Is there any quick wins I can do to help them build? Let's build algae down there. I'll make this a higher priority. So this system is also going to need more filtration because I want to make sure that the air that I'm pumping out of this is oxygen and not something else. So I'm going to want to have a place to store oxygen. That's in the gas reservoir. So let's research that. Research has been complete on the gas reservoir. I am going to need one other thing, at least one other thing, and that's going to be a mechanism to turn the gas off and on in a pipe. So that's this one here, the gas shutoff. I'm going to research this. This looks like an absolute nasty piece of thing. I don't think they get wet when they cross this. It looks much worse than it actually is. It's only a small amount of water. Alright, research on the gas shutoff has been complete. So let's take our gas reservoir. I'm going to build it in the area near this system here. And I'm going to have the pumps travel or send oxygen in that direction. So I have gas shut off here. And before that, I'm going to have a gas pipe element sensor. I'm going to sense whether something is oxygen or not, set up automation. And if it is, it's going to go into this tank. If it's not, it will carry on and exit out here. Now this will work as long as this doesn't become overflowed. But because I'm mostly only ever expecting oxygen and rarely will get other elements, that typically always works for me. So at this point, I'm going to have a tank of oxygen. I'm also going to be wanting to have the situation where if there's too much oxygen, I want to shut these pumps off. So I can do that because there's an output to the gas reservoir. Now I won't be able to go down here, but I'll go this way. Now, technically, what I'm doing there with that automation is preventing too much oxygen from going down this pipe, which really doesn't matter, so that may not be strictly necessary, but there it is. So I'm just going to reuse this pipe for a certain distance anyways. I'm going to send oxygen up into our base. So this device needs power. I'm going to build anything new from heavy watt wires. So we're going to replace everything with heavy watt soon. Don't know exactly when, but soon. Alright, so now it's time to apply some settings. This gas pipe element sensor, it's going to detect breathable oxygen. And if it is, it's going to go inside this tank. And I'm going to tell this tank, and we'll put 80 and 80. What that's going to ultimately send the signal down is anytime there's up to or less than 80% oxygen in this tank, the pumps can be on. I've disabled this one just because I don't want to run too much electricity in this at this time until I cover the place with this heavy watt wire. So this is looking pretty good. The last element to this, I'm just going to put mark filtration medium in here. So the last part of this is putting water or polluted water into these liquid reservoirs. So I have to find a source